Podium. My name is Annie, and today we will be learning how to make a fairy house. So what you're going to want to do first is find a nice big tree or something to prop up your fairy house. So I found this tree, and what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to grab something and I'm just going to kind of flatten out the bottom. So where I want the tree house to be, I'm just going to carefully flatten it out. So there's like a space where there's not a lot of pine cones or like these pine sticks or anything. We're just flattening it out. And then it's a nice flat area for our fairy house. Okay, so this is my flattened area right now, and that's what I'm going to start with. Okay, now that we have our nice flattened out ground, I'm going to start collecting leaves to be the ground for the fairies. So then it's their carpet pretty much. Okay, now that we have the nice flattened area for our fairy house, I'm going to start laying down my carpet for the fairy house, which I'm going to be using these leaves that I found on the ground. So you're just going to lay these nice and flat on the ground where you think you're going to have the setup for the fairy house. So you're just gonna lay these all down as the fairy's carpet. Okay, this is how my carpet looks so far. Now that we are done with the carpet, I'm going to start collecting sticks and things to start placing against the tree to start making this sort of shape around the carpet. So then this is like the walls. Okay, so now that I have all my sticks collected, I'm just going to start setting them up how I want my fairy house to be. And I found all these sticks just on the ground of the floor, and you can use anything you find that can make a nice little structure for the fairy house. So just propping them up like this. Okay, so this is how I've set up my fairy house. I have like a little entrance right here, and I just stacked all the sticks up so it makes a house looking shape. Okay, now with your house looking shape, we're just going to take whatever you find on the ground. I'm going to be using these pine needles, and I'm just going to kind of layer it on top of the house for a roofing, because the sticks were just the base of it, and this I think makes it look more like a house. So I'm just taking all these and just covering it up, and it will also protect them from rain if it rains or any type of weather. This should protect the fairies so they can come here and hide out from weather or anything. So just gonna prop it all up against it. This is how the fairy house looks now, and you can see if you go in, it's nice and covered, and so this is all around it, nice and covered and hidden from any of the fairies' predators. Okay, so now that we have our fairy house down, I'm going to clear a little passage for them so it's easy for them to fly right in. Okay, so I cleared up a little passage for them, and I'm just going to place little stones for them so they know where to go. So it's like a little walkway right into their house. And now, since some houses have little bushes next to them, I'm going to go find some pine cones and I'm going to put little bushes next to the fairy house. Okay, so I found my 2 little pine cones, which I'm going to be using as bushes, and I'm going to put them right by the house so my house has nice pretty bushes right there. And I'll show you guys how it looks. Okay, so this is the walkway, and then that's the house. Okay, and since the fairies might get a little lonely in their house if they're alone, I've decided I'm going to put little Pugrisha right in there just to give them a friend in the house. And this is how it looks with little Pugrisha in there. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and just remember that all these materials were found on the floor, so don't like pull leaves off of trees and stuff to make these houses. I just found everything on the floor of the forest, and yeah, so no nature was hurt during this process. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time. Bye!